Okay, we're going to start off with this map here, submitted by Robbie Gum Gum. So yesterday I kind of got some general advice for Troll Mr. Ricky on his map. And so that's about all I could really do in terms of that map. So moving on to the next for now. And it looks like there are a lot of pending mods, so there might be a few things that would need to be looked at to make sure they're resolved by, or at least the previous mods have been resolved. Okay, so just going down the timeline, there's only one diff here. There's also general stuff that, okay, there's tags that people mentioned. I don't think you really need to mod tags, especially since this is like a first map. But just letting the mapper know which tags to add is fine, I guess. General stuff about timing. This doesn't really matter, the OD. But you could point to ranking criteria, say that for certain difficulties, there's a recommended OD and other difficulty values like HP, AR, stuff like that. But now I'll just go down the timeline. Okay, so it does sound a bit off time. So I did notice there was this post about playfield usage. So it looks like they tried to address this. At least this sounds pretty nice and timed properly. But it could be variable BPM. Wait, this person is asking for a sound at... The part that's not mapped, I don't know what happened here. At 21 seconds. So it feels like the mapper probably deleted the first part of the map. What happened there? I mean, this was last updated 13 minutes ago. Alright, so there's no real indication of what happened to the first part of the map. But if we go off of what is here now, it starts at 26 seconds. Yeah, to me, the sound or the offset sounds a bit early. And this is an opportunity to just overlap the 7 here. It doesn't really matter since no one's going to see this overlap unless they play easy mod, but it's still a consideration. There is an overlap here, so also makes it more consistent. It could be 1/6 on these vocals. And also some of these pianos. Although I'm a little confused now. The timing might not be accurate is the thing. Okay, so there are nice patterns like this, but for some reason the rest of the map has instances where the patterns aren't really fixed up. Maybe it's still in progress. Might want to avoid this kind of overlap. You could do something like this. Or wait. The 8 here. And then make these parallel. And then avoid this sort of tiny overlapping again. For overlaps, most of the time, like, having a half overlap usually is found in a good amount of maps, or a full overlap. But stuff like this where it's just barely overlapping is generally avoided. So here it's a pretty calm section. I would probably just map the vocals. It's a held vocal here, and then here. So yeah, making a simpler rhythm, just following vocals for the calm section is what I would do. This sort of thing does work, but you could also have like a reverse slider. So that's the general advice I would give for this rhythm choice here at around 115. A visual like this might be a bit cleaner instead of having this overlap back on top. And this is an exact yeah, I don't know if it's just a timing issue here. But I would just make sure that the vocal is like around here. It's closer to this white tick than it is the blue 1/4 tick. But it also, this white tick might be a bit late. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but probably don't want to use 112, so it might be a BPM issue. For a section like this, the idea is not that bad, but it could be executed better. So the slider shapes themselves, you could get away with just a 3-point slider here. And then you copy paste 120, as I've shown before. Copy paste 120 again, overlap, and then delete the other sliders. Okay, wrong one. And these look like they might be copy pasted, so yeah. But this third slider is overlapping in a weird way with the second one, so if this was manually placed, then you can just delete that, copy paste the 1 and 2, and then rotate 120, line up the sliders, delete this one, and now okay, there we go. And now they have even spacing and the triangle. And then these sliders, you can kind of tell that they're kind of messed up, even though they're 3-point sliders. So a normal 3-point slider would look something like this. But these seem to think they're Bezier curves, even instead of like these arcs. So probably just delete that, make a new slider. And then you could vary it up a bit. So instead of the same old circle, you could rotate it like that. Since it is, you know, a stronger sound, you might want to vary it up from the previous patterns. Do another 120. a blanket opportunity for something like this. And this right here, these overlaps can be, you know, spaced out a bit. But first thing is maybe the rhythm. So I do like this rhythm. Well, yeah, okay, so might need to fix timing before anything else because the slider just doesn't really match up with the vocal. Unless it's 1/6. It's not the worst rhythm. And this kind of visual does work sometimes. But most of the time it might just look messy. You can overlap things a bit better. So maybe, as an example, you could overlap the slider ends. Most of this is just if you really care about visuals. Blanketing, overlapping, just making sure that you don't overlap in a super weird way. But that takes, you know, looking at maps and seeing what other people do for the most part. So overlaps like this are generally avoided. Could just space them out. Although it is maybe viable to have this sort of overlapping. But here, generally avoid touching tips like that. Like even for fancy sliders like this, overlapping a bit more is fine, or just avoiding the overlap is fine. It's not a huge problem though. This could be 2 sliders here. Highlights the vocal on this white tick. And this is, it's not a bad slider art, but it doesn't really represent the song too well. It's like building up in intensity in this section, and the slider is just copy pasted, which doesn't make much of an interesting rhythm. This kind of rhythm is actually pretty good. Although I would clean up the visuals. So I think this is another case of sliders being weird. I think you can just delete the node and bring it back so that it thinks it's an arc again. But then I would, well, this is fine. This slider is not weird. So you could take this and rotate it 90 or negative 90. And then avoid touching tips. But it is kind of a big jump compared to the first part here. So probably ha. Welcome, Destiny. Modding Kisaragi was sad. You lied when you said there wouldn't be much to mod. Oh, what went wrong? Two hours, no interruptions. It is a 5-minute map. Almost 6 minutes. Didn't even try to mod the drops. Yeah, I guess there was a few things to point out. I didn't really take too much of a look since I was still kind of backed up in my queue. But thanks for that. Alright, so I do like some of these slider shapes, but for the most part, seems like the general advice I would give for this map is one, make sure timing is correct, because you don't want to be mapping something that's not timed properly, and have to fix everything once you actually find out the BPM, especially if that's wrong. If it's just a simple offset change, that's not a big deal, but having incorrect BPM can really throw you off. So make sure timing is correct, and then in terms of rhythm choice, have you sent maps before? I believe you have. But only for like a test play, really. I might have gotten rid of it. Oh wait, no, it's this one. Yeah. Welcome to this stream, by the way, Jazak. You got another map. Alright, I can take a look. Unfortunately, I do not know this song. I have not heard of this artist before. But it does sound nice. You only know this song from this map? From a JP EDM circle you follow, but never heard of the artist before either. Really nice map. It's the type of map that feels like it deserves a good-looking storyboard to go along with it. You don't have enough trust in yourself? Make you feel pressured to go extra ham. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, currently in this state, it's probably rankable, right? Just need to find some BNs for it. You've got BNs, but Insane needs to be remapped. Because they copy-pasted the first and second key eye. Oh no. Not a big deal, but second key eye is different enough to feel weird. Yeah, it definitely has an extra layer. Yeah, one of the BNs wants it remapped. So yeah, just a bit of an impediment, I guess. Neko's Club Tournament. I have not heard of that, but I don't really follow the tournament scene too much. was a rather small tourney. Somehow knew the map pooler though. Oh, you were forced to map it. Well, it turned out pretty well though. Thanks for the look. Yep, no problem. Thanks for stopping by and posting. Okay, so back to a bit of modding for now. I think I was talking about general tips I would give for this map. So first thing was timing. It's a bit off, so probably want to make sure that's all correct before anything else so that you don't have to move a bunch of objects around in order to resnap them. And then the second thing was rhythm choice. So for calm sections like this, this sort of pattern's being repeated multiple times, but in my opinion, it's better to follow vocals here. So for the first section, there are 4 vocals. So while it's fine to have 4 sliders to represent that, you can also make it less dense. Just put a reverse like that. And then for the second section, there's really only 2 vocals, so we'd probably extend these 2 sliders. And yeah, the timing is not perfect, so and for this, just extend the slider, since there isn't really a sound on this white tick. Extend this as well. And then a point about visuals. Probably try to avoid these types of sliders with the 4 anchors. And if you happen to turn it into 3 anchors and it still looks like a 4-point slider, then you can just remove that node and then control click it back in. And if you're trying to get this sort of pattern, the best way to do that is copy the first slider, rotate 120, and then take these 2. Copy paste them, 120 again. And then take this slider and overlap it perfectly with this one. And then you can delete one of them and move the other slider in place. And now you have perfect geometry. And that can be applied to the rest of the map, so or like this. And here as well. here as well. I think it's already been applied here, although I would avoid this sort of overlap where you're touching tips. So either space it out, or if it's a calmer section, you can move it in closer to have them spaced less. Your blue automatic map will go so hard if you somehow finish it. Rage, don't die. Oh, you are still working on it, nice. You got 4 more minutes. You got this. Can I tell what map inspired it? I don't really have a particular map in mind. Life of Vermin. Well, it is a very similar song. It is the same artist. But I don't think I've seen this map before, actually. Gordon's a cool mapper. Don't have any sets hosted by Gordon besides the ones that he posted in stream that one time. So, yeah. You forgot he came through the stream once? Yeah, pretty cool maps though. Okay, so I do recall this pattern being in the map earlier. And I think it might have been in this section. So, 2 anchor circles. Or sliders, you mean? But yeah, so... was this addressed? Not really. Half circle sliders. Well, if you wanted a perfect half circle, then if you delete one node, it gets weird. So you have to delete both nodes, and then, yeah, you can still make nice looking half circles. But yeah, I think it's pretty much the same rhythm as this section here. So should be applied to this section as well. And yeah, I would try to highlight the vocal on this white tick. I pointed this out earlier, but just to reiterate, it would be something like that. And of course, you change the visuals however you like. This is actually a pretty good pattern in terms of rhythm. And I do get the idea behind this, but could use a bit of polishing. And this is like a heart bow tie idea, or ribbon. And then an actual heart. Another musical note. But you kind of have to consider when a good time to use slider art is. Even though it's a relatively calm section, there are a lot of ignored sounds. Like, having one final slider art is pretty good here. And this is kind of like a butterfly, which makes sense, I believe. And instead of the spinner, you could also have another slider art here. Example of that is one that's pretty recent. Slider art into slider art. Alright, so not really a lot I can say that would actually be helpful at this point. So just to repeat the main points: timing, rhythm choice, and visuals. So make sure the timing is completely correct throughout the map. Otherwise, you're placing objects on sounds that don't really exist. And then, yeah. or you have to use weird snapping, which most of the case shouldn't be necessary. And then for the rhythm choice, just listen to the song, slow motion, try to pick out all the sounds, and a good way to practice is to just listen on other maps that have been ranked and see how they handle rhythm choice. And then of course visuals is another thing. You can look at ranked maps, see how visuals are generally laid out, and if there's stuff that you see, rank status. If there's any sort of patterns that you notice are copy-pasted, you might wonder, okay, how is this done? We'll probably copy-paste this, Control H, and then reduce spacing, 0.8. Yep. So just mess around with the editor and try to replicate what other people did and see if you can make the same sort of map in an efficient way. Just learning the editor is pretty useful, and all the tools available. But yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for this map. I'm not gonna be posting an actual mod. But I will say stuff like first thing I would try or would okay, first thing I would do is make sure the timing's correct. So yeah, the time-old saying of map more. So the next map we have is this one. It was updated 7 hours ago, so let's see here. Top div, okay, might be a tag. Update, that was applied if every diff was updated. Or maybe not. Well, there aren't any timeline issues in Insane or in hard. So it might have been a general thing. Okay, it changed MP3. Alright, so since the insane and hard don't really have any mods, I'll try to see if there's anything to be covered in here. Wait, did something... I feel like they might have forgotten to re-snap. Yeah, that could have happened. Well, now I might need to check. Yeah. Well, they did get a BN mod, so... This is rankable, except for this issue that just came up because they changed the MP3. Okay, I think I could just leave a note here saying that the offset kind of got messed up. Might be across all diffs. Or is it just me? Do I need to completely delete and then re-download? Let's try that. Because it could be a me issue. Right? Okay, I think it's a me issue. It seems like it's fixed now. I mean, this is the only thing I really noticed so far. This being not stacked. Mostly for consistency with other one gaps. Yeah, it seems like they're using perfect stacks for most 1-1 gaps besides that first one. I'd say good stack. Well, I don't think there's anything else that I could really mod besides that one consistency issue. Anti-flow isn't really an unrankable issue. Like, it's still playable. I don't really see any problems with the hard. Well, the spacing makes sense. The visuals are consistent and they also look decent. So, yeah, and rhythm choice. It makes sense. The vocals are a bit different, but it's still fine since it's kind of it's essentially the same backing rhythm. Although it does make the section repetitive. I mean, it's technically not unrankable, right? But having the same rhythm for almost 20 seconds with a bit of transitioning between. It's not something I would do personally, but I don't think it's a huge issue. Like, you could highlight this vocal on the white tick. But I'm not sure. Any suggestions that I would make would probably not be too helpful anyways. So I think that is really it. That one mod. What happened here? Like, even if the map doesn't use corner circles, that doesn't really matter. I don't know why it keeps asking to update. But yeah, I think that is all there is really to look at. Seems like BNs are already interested in this map anyways, so if there's anything super specific, then BNs are probably on that. And then Destiny modded Clutches map. So there's one left in the queue. Oh wait, there's also another one in the Osu mod that I still need to look at. 4 days ago, updated. Okay. So nothing changed since it was requested. Okay, there are a good number of mods already. One pending is in general. Needs 8. Okay, sure. So it's, yeah. Don't really need to mod that kind of stuff. Oh no. Rhythm? Where's the rhythm? I would definitely make this a slider instead. That is the rhythm I would go for right off the bat, so highlighting these strong sounds with these sliders. And you could also do something like this. So that this is also clickable. And then same applies over here. So yeah. Don't think the current rhythm is the best for the song. Is this something that was talked about at all? Messy and overlapped. Okay, so that was probably changed. And then this as well. Okay, this does seem like a fourth map or something. In terms of rhythm choice, at least. Okay, eighth map. This is the problem with issues that span across the map. You can't really cover it in one post. I think it's better just to make sure, you understand why the rhythm is probably not so good in one section, and then you take a look at other sections and see how that can apply. What is this? I think making the slider silent. I don't know exactly what happened. There is a good amount of hit sounding. So yeah, I'm seeing this issue where there's a slider end on a strong sound quite a lot. What happens if I try to point out every single case? So there's this right here. This rhythm could be replaced so that this is clickable. And a way to do that, have a triple. I just feel like a mod post wouldn't do this justice. So yeah, here's what I'm going to do. There are rhythm choices that are pretty questionable throughout this first section here, so I'll just listen to the song and then map out the sort of rhythm that I would choose. And then, of course, visuals in this case don't really matter too much. So the first three, or the first like beat here, I would just map it as a triple so that this sound here has this is clickable, and then I would also make this white tick clickable, so like that. And I would make this a slider. And then I think this next part is the same thing, so it can be repeated, the rhythm. And yeah, the hit sounds would have to be redone as well. So this section here, this could be all circles, but you can also just have a slider here. And then I would make this like a jump, basically. And then stack it with the next to give that little pause of aim, and then that represents the pause in the music. So yeah, the first 5 seconds or so, and that's the kind of rhythm I would go for. I would probably swap these two. And I would probably like reverse this in terms of intensity. I would start out with sliders and then transition to a stream, since the song is building up in intensity here. So it would be something like, or we could have, you know, like bursts into and then I would switch this out for the stream instead. So yeah, basically just a stream into this. And I would make this a jump since it's definitely a really strong sound on this white tick. That's being ignored by and turned into a slider tail. You could hold this note a bit longer, out to the 1/4. I wouldn't ignore this white tick here. And then this is a double vocal, kind of like right here. So you could make that consistent. I would also make this consistent. So there's a sound, a vocal on the red tick and the white tick here. I would not ignore those. This section has okay rhythm. It doesn't necessarily need any changes. Oh no. There's such a strong sound here, and it deserves better. You could do something simple as that, but for more contrast, you could bump up slider velocity. What's being changed here? This, right? And you can create this pause here. And then that brings you into the key eye. So in this case, where you have two vocals, I would again highlight both of them, make them both clickable. So I'll just basically reverse these patterns. I don't really see any reason for, or hear any reason for there to be a stream here. Maybe a burst makes sense. But all I hear is a triple. And since it's two strong vocals, you could even do something like that. And then this is essentially a repeat of over here. Again, I would choose this rhythm for the vocals. Wait, what happened here? So yeah, in this first section, you use half slider and then have it end on the vocal. Then here, there's slider ends on the first vocal, but then a circle on the second. So yeah, I would change this first rhythm and then the second one, make it more consistent as well. And there's this 1/4 here being ignored. So just make that stream complete. And then same deal with the rhythm in the earlier sections. And just a repeat. Again. So yeah, in my opinion, this is the better rhythm to go with. So wherever you hear this mada, I would highlight both the vocals by doing a circle slider. This could even be 2 circles as well. Like, this rhythm is good. Although, okay, maybe it makes more sense if these are the circles. So you can hear like guitar sounds on these 3, but then this one is a bit more held, so make this the slider instead. So yeah, basically just reversing the pattern here. And then same for this section. And I think visually the best way to represent it would be stacking these. But you can also make them jumps. And then when you have 2 very similar sounds like this is okay to have, but for the most part you can represent that by copy pasting the slider. So they kind of work off of each other, both in terms of the song and also represented visually. Now this is essentially the same as these sections before. But there's also this 1/4 added in. then you can do the same thing with the copy paste. But then also extend this. So yeah, might be going on too long about rhythm choice, but all that I said about the first minute of the map can be applied to the rest, most likely. So, for example, there's a really strong sound. Would definitely make that a clickable. Then listen for the 1/4, just to make sure you don't miss any. The vocal on this white tick. And in cases like this, where there's a pretty strong sound right after this one vocal, you can just do something like this. So you still catch the vocal and the strong drum in this case. And it still has the same idea as like having this held vocal, but extending it so that you're also actively hitting this drum. But we can take a look at some of the issues that other people have pointed out and see if there's anything that was missing. I don't think this really applies anymore. It was probably on this red tick and then was moved to the white tick. Offset might have changed since then. Let's take a look at if offset was adjusted anywhere. Yeah, so a general mod like this, just talking about rhythm choices, I'm not sure if it really helped the mapper. Overlaps, stacks, inconsistent rhythm. Bit rate, key timing. Okay, yeah, they did adjust timing by minus 10 milliseconds. Another timing point here. Well, not exactly necessary. You just need one timing point, really. NC, where is this? Yeah, so personally, oh, how did it get to 1/5? So yeah, if this rhythm is changed, then NC could go on this 1, or could also go on the 4. But I think that's really up to the mapper. As it is, it does make more sense to have this NC instead of the next one, but also kind of up to the mapper. And who cares about NCs anyways? Alright, red lines. I would say this first red line is kind of unnecessary. You can still have this note before the red line. Okay, so there is a mod about rhythm choice here. So 32, 187. So you definitely could vary up the rhythm, but this part here does make sense as basically 1/2s all over the place. But even if you choose a like repetitive pattern like all sliders, or you could even go with jumps, but probably not something that most people would like. Like, yeah, this section could literally be all jumps. But if you choose an uninteresting rhythm, like either all half sliders or all circles, you can tell like the song builds up in intensity and then starts to scale down in intensity. So you could have like building up jumps, spacing. So that's just one idea. You could, if you just do all sliders, so you can space out the sliders when the song builds up, and then bring them back closer together. And if you want to vary up the rhythm a bit, you can just do like a repeating pattern. So slider into slider into circles, repeating. Or you can have it similar to how it was before. So start off with sliders, and then transition to like jumps. So there's just a few ways you can vary up rhythm, or keep a simple rhythm while still having better visual representation of the song. Okay, and that probably applies to all the other key eyes as well. So yeah. Okay, so this monitor does have an example of rhythm. Wait. Force dark mode does nothing. Alright, so... And it's also... Okay, I'll just zoom in manually. Where is this? Hello, Muffin. Welcome to the stream. So from 34 seconds... So it looks like they're suggesting... How am I? I'm doing pretty well. How about you? You're a bit sad? Well, hopefully you feel a bit better soon. We all have those moments, though. In this section, I don't think the 1/4ths are absolutely necessary, but the modder does point out that it does make the rhythm a bit more interesting. But I've already covered this section earlier, so we can take a look at some other mods that people have posted. Osu, yes. I'm playing Osu and modding a map made by another person, or Modding as in giving feedback. Okay, 9 seconds. I'm not exactly sure how it was before. It looks like all jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Surely not like this. All you need really is this one slider up here. And I would keep these as jumps with a bit of a pause here and then or an overlap to represent that pause. But again, I've covered this section earlier. Just gonna go on to this next mod. It's 177, which is this. I think it's okay, so there would be an NC here if this was an active object. Right, like this. So yeah, I would fix up that rhythm and then apply that NC myself. NC here. I'd probably do it something like this. Let's change the slider to make it 2 circles. Wait, why is it? Oh, this is in general. That's why the timestamps aren't in order. I think I also had my last update, so I'll change it to creation time. That might help a little bit. So 183. So that would be this note basically. I don't really hear any piano, so I think this modder is referring to the guitar. At least that's what I'm hearing. It's like the lead guitar. And then there's also like a bass. And then of course percussion. But I think what you see in this image really is like the setup they have. So like 2 guitars, bass, and drums, and then vocals. So yeah, I don't really think this change is correct. Make it 2 circles. It does work, but I would make this a slider. I've already covered this before, my rhythm choice for this section, but yeah. Control G for better rhythm choice. Wow, of course. Wait, 80s. I do not agree. It needs more than just a Control G if it was like this before. Again, I covered this earlier, but I would have a rhythm like this. And this could even be circles as well. So yeah, ignore the visuals I put down, just focus on the rhythm for that section. And slider to 2 circles on 531, which is move minus 11, it seems. So if it was like this before, yeah, I don't think this enough is really a good solution. Again, I've covered this before, but would make this a triple. So you can highlight this white tick. And then like this red tick, you can still hear the guitar, but it's less impactful than the white ticks. So yeah, again, I've covered that. So moving on, another slider to 2 circles. And again, I've discussed this rhythm. NC, I already looked at that. I already looked at this and this one. Okay, so I covered all the general stuff that people posted. Feels weird with 2, 3 being stacked. So I've gone over this rhythm and how I would do it. Visuals can come after rhythm, I would say. So I'd fix up the rhythm first, and then that will cause some changes in like sliders and make you reconsider or like have to move around your visual stuff. So I would focus on rhythm first. But I've basically covered the first minute of the map, so anything before that, in regards to rhythm at least, you can make a stream here. think this is not a great suggestion. I already covered this earlier again, but yeah, just to repeat, this is the kind of rhythm that would probably suit this best. You have this held vocal, and then you can map this drum. And then there's a triple here. And then same here. And again, I would apply the same thing basically. Because you can't really hear any sounds on this stick. So no real reason to have a note there. There's a bit of a guitar on this red tick, but not super impactful. I'd rather just carry out this vocal. And even though there's only like one other song of this map, from what I can tell, just from a simple search, you can already hear the rhythm difference, and I would probably use this as a reference. Although stuff like this, I would rather have this be held. But this can give you different ideas, looking at other maps of the same song. But back to this one. Scrap the and make it like, okay, wait. I need to take a look at this. So this is at 39 seconds. So the modder suggested visuals are not too bad, but I would just fix up the rhythm first, and then worry about visuals after, as I said before. Okay, maybe stack on the slider end. Like this, I'm thinking their suggestion is. But again, the rhythm, I would change it up myself. Fix the stack. Did no one point out this missing 1/4? Okay, and then 1/2 slider. Don't know why it ends on blue tick. I think I already addressed this again, but just repeating, that's the rhythm I would go with. Extremely hit sounded doesn't really matter in this case. Same. Okay. Listen for the strong sounds and try to have an active object there. That applies for most of this map. So yeah, I've covered this. I would control G this pattern. Applies for basically the entire section. And stack this. I would okay, I would do something like this. If you want to highlight the vocals inside the stream, you do that with 1/2 sliders possibly. So yeah, in this section, the biggest thing is having these reverse arrows on the white ticks, where those should probably be clickable and represent some sort of change in the music. So I would start the reverse slider on the white tick. And when there's like a double vocal like this, I would have 2 sliders, and it starts on the white tick here. Just ignore the visuals and follow the rhythm. So yeah, and I can zoom in on the timeline here. So it'd be 4, slider, slider, and then group of 6, slider, 4 slider slider, group of 4, and then NCing can also help with identifying these sorts of patterns. So yeah, I think this is maybe the only sort of section like that. Well, there's a lot of... The song is really building up here, so... There have been streams in this map before, so might as well add one here. And here... No real reason to have a stream here now. Just have it held... A single slider to represent that held vocal. Okay, there's a different section here. Ignore note here. I am jumping around a bit, but yeah. Mostly just need to pay attention a bit more to the rhythm. This sounds like it could be a stream. Or reverse sliders. Or you could at least represent the extra layer of sound with 1/4 sliders. So yeah. Visuals for this section, they could go something like this. . mean, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, 1/4 sliders could work there. Or you could turn into a stream. So that's another option. But yeah, visuals are always up to the mapper, really. But I think that covers a lot of the rhythm choices I would make throughout the map. So I covered the first minute, a bit of the stream part, wherever that was, right here. PIs are pretty much the same, and then this one extra section right here. And yeah, this part. I would have a stream starting up here and have it be accelerating maybe. You can include a few sliders and stuff. You can break it up. And also highlight the vocals. And then something like this. Get rid of that. So yeah, that is general advice for that map. Don't think it is too much help to post mods where it's just explaining with words and maybe even images. I think this video format where you can see the rhythm being formed and the reasons behind it at the same time should help out a bit more. So yeah, there's a lot of things that could be looked at this map. But the first thing I would do is address the rhythm, and then if that causes you to have some new slider shapes like right here, you can think about how you want to position your visuals. So maybe something like that. So yeah, once you have the rhythm down, that's when I would start playing with the visuals. But that is enough for this map. I'll mark it as accepted. And I have one more to look at that Naylissia submitted through Osumod. It's not in the forum, so we're getting to that last. But I've gone through the forum queue at this point. Some mods are yet to be resolved, but I can check back on those when they come in. So let's see. Just this one mod I put on the Insane. Destiny put some mods here. And I think I discussed this in this stream. It's been going pretty long, but yeah. So I think for newer mappers, this sort of format works out better. Being able to see hear the issue or why the modder thinks there's an issue and what the modder would do to change it and get that instant feedback. So yeah. I'll probably be sending this video to the mappers and let them go through it at their own pace if they desire. And another helpful thing to do would be to look at other maps. Maybe they're not super good, but they can give you an idea of why someone would choose a certain rhythm. So yeah, that's another thing to look at. Okay, so that's about all I will look at for this stream. Tomorrow we can have a go at Naylissia's map over here. So the top right map. Everything else is accepted, but yeah. Ended up modding the top diff for this. Also made a banner. Not sure if they have seen it, or the updated one at least. So this is what I made for that. And then I sent the last stream's video for this mapper, since a lot of general feedback was covered in that stream. And I'll probably be doing the same for this map by Robbie Gum Gum, and then also by Keiko Hotaru. But yeah, Destiny modded Kisaragi, and I just posted one suggestion for Story of My Life. But that is most of the queue, and gonna plan on looking at Naylissia's map tomorrow. And then after that, if I have some sort of downtime, I can get back to mapping myself. So yeah, that's all for this stream though. I'll be back tomorrow as usual. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy, take care, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.